Hi, it's me, Miss Plummer, and we have reached the second book in Jasper's journey. This one is called Pet to Predator, Memoir of a Feline Hunter. Here's a picture of me and Jasper. Or should I say, Jasper and me. So sorry. Dedication. To the third graders who have been my biggest fans, thanks for loving me for the feline king I am. Don't forget to read my books to your cats. Jasper the house cat. To my 23 classes of third graders who have helped me become a storyteller, your laughter and questions have challenged me to hook readers with each story. To my family and friends who continue to encourage me on this writing adventure, love, Jody Lee Plummer, aka Ms. P. Notes from the authors. The feline author's note. I'm a cat. I'm a house cat, but I have the spirit of a ferocious beast and a reputation to match. My human is a third grade teacher. Her students, past and present, are my fan club. I even have my own Instagram. You should follow me. Most cats don't develop a following and a reputation that entertains, but I have. That is why I'm telling my tales. Maybe you'll join my fan club after reading this edition of my memoir. Plus, maybe you can look through the want ads and give a cat a home. Let him or her be the king or queen of your heart. Human author's note. Jasper's tales have entertained my family, friends, and students for over a decade. It was a student who suggested Jasper have a Facebook page, but my nephew, who illustrates Jasper's picture books, suggested Instagram. So, writing in the voice of my feline roomie allowed me to finally get around to completing my one-day dream. Sadly, in December of 2018, a fast onset of heart failure prompted Jasper's real-life journey to come to an end after 11 and a half years. His legendary reputation will continue in his voice through our Jasper books. One of my current students asked, "What about Jasper's books? Will you still write them?" I assured him that though Jasper's journey had ended, his stories would be completed. Enjoy the journey with us. Chapter 1. Dear fans, I'm sure you've been waiting anxiously to find out more about my fantastic feline life. For those of you who have just happened upon this edition of my memoir, you should really pick up the first one too. It was so exciting. You're really missing out. If you didn't catch it in the preceding paragraph, I am a cat. Not just any cat. I am a one-of-a-kind intelligent pet of a teacher cat. I like to use big words because they add pizzazz to my prose. That means fancy use of words. Just in case you're reading this and you're not the genius pet of a teacher, I'll try to teach you what these exemplary, better than good words mean. So maybe one day you'll be as smart as me, King Jasper, the house cat. Here's a quick recap of my first year. I was chosen over my brother to be a house cat for Jody, who I like to call Miss Fuzzy Hair. Actually, I called her that first because I couldn't remember her name. Since it's just the two of us, the only time I heard someone say her name was when Connor came to visit. Connor is her nephew and spent a lot of time with us when he was younger. He's not young now. He's in college. It must be a place where you need cookies and gift cards because Jody bakes him cookies and mails him gift cards a lot. The cookies smell tasty, but I don't see why he likes the gift cards. They don't smell like anything other than people's hands. During my first year, I learned about this cool inside tree that comes out for a month at the end of the year. And here is his picture underneath the tree or behind the tree. However, Jody doesn't like it when I climb it, so I have to be on guard for her grabbing the water police. There's one on duty in each room of the house, except the office and guest room. Jody grabs it anytime she doesn't like what I'm doing or where I'm climbing. How rude. I also learned an awful word. Hold your ears, little kitties, or it'll bring you nightmares. I learned veterinarian. I went there twice. Once they clipped my nails super low. The second visit they made me stay overnight. And it was the longest night of my entire life. I kid you not. It lasted forever. And I didn't think Miss Fuzzy Hair was coming back for me. But she did. At the end of my first year, I realized that I needed to start earning my keep. See, Jody only decided to get a cat because of field mice sneaking into her old house. It seems the winter before picking me, she caught 6 field mice in her house. So she decided it was time to pick kitty litter and cat hair over field mice. Seriously? She didn't pick me because she needed a king to rule over her and reign in her kingdom, but she didn't like mouse droppings? Well, whatever. I have no doubt that she'd never get rid of me because, let's face it, I'm amazing. But I decided I should figure out this thing that she kept saying all cats could do. How does she know? She's never been a cat, and she barely understands what I say. I mean, I have to nip her ankle sometimes just so she'll know that it's time to feed me, or she fed me the wrong thing, or she should quit singing. Chapter 2, Playmate and Snack. Well, at the young, sprightly age of 1, I was now as intelligent as a 15-year-old person. Like I said, cats are smart. I must confess that living with a teacher has made me smarter than your typical cat. I noticed that sometimes when Jody would come home from work, that intruders would come with her. Sometimes I thought they were new toys for me, but I soon discovered that they could move without any help from me. That brings me to Crawler. I don't really know if that was his name, but I named him that. It's easier to talk when you call someone by name, like Miss Fuzzyhair called me Jasper. Anyway, I noticed Crawler sneaking into the house. He must have had a really hard day at work because he was slower than grass growing in the winter. Hey, what's going on? Are you friends with Jody? I meowed. Nothing. He didn't say a thing. How rude. So are you the new pet? Just make sure you know who's boss, I added. Nothing. You're not very smart, are you? I questioned. You know what he did? He moved. I thought he was playing, so I patted him on the back. Want to play? I asked. Nothing. I swatted him again, so he'd know I was ready to play. What are you doing, Jasper? Are you killing the big bad bug? Jody inquired. Bug? I remember those. My brother and I used to play with them all the time. Of course, they're not really good at playing, so you sort of had to push him around. So I swatted him again. Oops. I swatted him too hard, it seems. Man, I must be really strong. He smelled funny. I wondered what it tasted like, so I licked it right up, and I chewed him a few times and swallowed. Not that bad. I mean, it's no canned tuna, but it wasn't bad for an after-school snack. I looked over my shoulder and found Jody laughing. Why are you laughing? I asked. You silly kitty. Don't eat bugs. That's gross. I meowed and replied, listen, Miss Fuzzyhair, unless you've eaten a bug, then you don't know if it's tasty or not. It was a bit crunchy and gooey, with a little bitter flavor thrown in for good measure. Well, Jody just kept shaking her head and went into the kitchen to make her dinner. After a brief rest from my interaction with Crawler, I followed her. Here is him after the bug eating incident. She opened the big cold humming box to look for some yummy people treats. This was probably the coolest in purpose and temperature thing in her house. When she would open the door, I could see shelves of food. I'd try to crawl inside to investigate what I wanted to eat, but she'd kick me out of the way. Okay, she didn't really kick me, but she used her foot to nudge me out of her way. She'd walk a few steps to the hot box and put things in a pan and start playing around and around. It's like what she did with my fish on a string, but she'd do it with a wooden thing in the pan. Then she'd put it on a plate and take it into the living room to eat. Now, if I irritated her just enough during her cooking time, she'd give me some stinky wet food to eat while she ate her food on a plate. However, if I overshot and made her go nuts, then she'd toss me into the bedroom and shut herself in the living room alone. See, playing my cards precisely was so important. I wanted to be treated to yummy food rather than being mistreated into isolation. Granted, I'd have access to 6 rooms, but I'd be shut out of the 7th room where my toys and my human would be. Okay, that's it for chapter 2, and in our second session, we will pick up with chapter 3, which is called Toy Time. Have a great day.